What is going on, YouTube? It's Tuesday, and that means it's time for another What Sold video. I'm just sitting here kind of wishing I had like a magic wand that I could wave and it would tackle my death pile. Or I could wave it here and it would do all my shipping. I'm going to see what else this thing can do, but here's the top items that I sold this past week on eBay. So hopefully you guys will be proud of me for this sale. I know a lot of you guys do books and you've commented that I should look at books more. Well, I picked this one up for $4 from Goodwill and it sold for $35. So that's a pretty good book flip, I think. But it's Two Worlds Above and Below the Sea by David Duboulette. I'm not real sure, but it's actually sealed. It does have a little damage on the corners, like maybe where it was dropped. So I probably could have got a little bit more if it wasn't for that. But $4 and $35 on a book, I'll take it. You guys may remember I picked up this Marquette windbreaker pullover in my last video. Well, it sold. I paid $5.75 for it and it sold for $46.50. I almost didn't pick it up because I feel like Marquette's kind of a smaller school and it's also private, so I figured there might not be that big of a demand for it. But then also because it's smaller and private, maybe big manufacturers like Nike don't make as much of their stuff, so maybe there's not as much to go around. Not real sure. Leave me a comment down below. What do you think? Should you buy smaller school stuff because there's not as much made, or you should pass it up because the demand's not there? Leave me a comment. Let me know. So I just wanted to show you guys this because apparently my 12-year-old daughter is a better picker than I am. We were at a thrift store one day and I'd already looked at the golf clubs, but she kind of hung around and was looking at them and noticed this one with a little coin in the top. It's a Bobby Jones Jesse Ortiz 35-degree hybrid. I saw it, ignored it, didn't think it would have any value because it's an older club. Well, she told me to look it up, and I'm glad she did. Paid $2 for it, and it sold in about a month for $49.50. So I'm not gonna lie, I've had this thing for a while. I bought it last year at a garage sale. Paid $5 for it. Was kind of taking a chance on it. I didn't look it up. But it's a Dietz or Dietz Little Wizard lantern. Still got all the tags and everything. It's never been fired. It's got a sticker on here, made in the People's Republic of China, so you know it's pretty old. But I paid $5 for it. Took about a year to sell, but it sold for $69.99. When my wife and I were down in Florida, I picked up 2 sets of golf clubs from a random Goodwill somewhere, only because they wanted $6.99 for them, and I figured it was too good of a deal to pass up. I knew it wouldn't be a huge profit, but this particular set, the Adams Speedline set, I actually sold the woods for like $45. I've still got the irons, and I almost redonated the bag because I didn't think it would have any value, but I figured, what the heck, let's throw it up on eBay. Well, I listed it for $80, got an offer a day later for $65. Figured I'd let it go and just get it moving. Kind of taking up a lot of room. Also, it's found money because I certainly didn't expect to sell it. And here are the irons that go in that bag. They just sold. Like I said, paid $6.99 for the whole bag. Sold the bag for what, $60, $65. These irons just sold for $60, and it's a partial set, 6-3 pitching wedge plus the putter. And then I've also sold 2 woods out of there for $48. So that $6.99 buy turned out to be better than I thought. Adams Speedline are actually in more of a demand than I expected. So you guys already know I love finding these 35mm point and shoot cameras. I don't find them quite as often as I used to. Maybe it's because resellers like me are snatching them up, or because thrift stores don't think they have any value. But I only paid $3 for this Canon SureShot 60 zoom from a little thrift store. I do put film in it. I keep just some film laying around that I can test with. Put a battery in it. Everything worked. Paid $3 for it, and it sold for $54.50 in about 2 weeks. I love this sale so much. It sold super quick. This is a F1 Racing Haas Racing team. It's like a rain jacket. And there weren't many comps at all. I think I saw one that had sold that shipped from the United Kingdom. It sold for like $78. So I listed mine at $80 and I got an offer overnight for $75. So I took it. Only paid $5.75 at Goodwill. But be on the lookout for this F1 racing stuff. It's a very expensive sport, so the gear that goes with it can be pretty expensive as well. So if you see brands like Ferrari, Mercedes, or different stuff like that, at least look it up. It might be worth it. Even old golf clubs that you wouldn't think would have any value can actually be worth money. This is a set of Wilson Staff Tour Blade irons. It's a 2 through 9 iron. It's actually missing the 8 iron. And they're not incredibly valuable, and I knew they would take a while to sell, but I also knew they'd eventually sell, and I couldn't leave them sitting at Goodwill for $5. Also, if you see an FG number down here at the bottom, like an FG17 or FG59, those can actually be worth some really good money. But I paid $5 for these from Goodwill, and they sold for $80 on eBay in about 3 months. I had them listed for a little bit higher, but I took an offer just to get them moving. Even if you don't know anything about tools, you need to be on the lookout for Snap-on. They're a pretty high-end tool brand. And really, you don't have to know a whole lot more than that, because most of the tools have a model number stamped on them. Like this is a OEX-46. It's an 1 7/16" combination wrench. I bought it when I was down in Florida with my wife. We hit a couple garage sales, paid $25 for 3 wrenches. So I've got maybe what, $8.30 something cent into this one. Well, it just sold for $95. Took about 3 weeks, but I think it was worth it. So sometimes I like to take chances on things, and this is one of those times. This is a Rust Sound Multisource multi-zone. It's like an audio distribution hub. And Rust Sound is a brand you need to know. They make some pretty high-end stuff. I actually paid $30 for this thing from Goodwill. And I was able to bring up some videos on YouTube that kind of showed me how to test it. I felt confident enough that I wouldn't have to return it to Goodwill, that it was in working condition. I listed it, and it sold in 2 weeks for $159.99. Now, I'm not out of the woods yet. Hopefully, when the guy installs it, everything works out and I'm good to go. But sometimes I like to take chances. So I sold this thing. It's a hot tub panel 50 amp ground fault breaker. And I really have no idea what that is. I think it's where you hook up your electrical for a hot tub. What I'm assuming it is, but it had actually been sitting at our local mom and pop thrift store for a couple of weeks, and for some reason I decided to pull it off the shelf and take a look at it, and it's actually new and sealed. So I looked it up on eBay, and sure enough, it was selling pretty good. Paid $5 for it at this little thrift store, and it sold in 2 days for 160 bucks.